It's Sunday. You know what that means. It's 8 a.m. Send help. Please. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of HCW Show Squared. The show we take the usual format or formula of a HCW show and expand it to the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm Dan, DP, or as we all say in these places, DPZ, yeah. And before we get into things, again, let's do what I normally do. Give you a reminder to give a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment saying what you like and what you dislike, and all of it helps towards our goals on YouTube. But besides YouTube, let me show you what else we have. This time, I've got the right screen set up. There we go. Above my head here, we have our various social medias. So we have our Twitch, which will start going on more of that soon. We have our Twitter, which we're on regularly. We have our Instagram, which we use quite regularly as well. Our Facebook, also quite regular. And our Threads, which we have forgotten. But it's fine, we'll get back to it. Probably in the new year. But please give us a follow on all of those if you enjoy our content, because it helps us towards our goals. But yeah, without any further ado, we should probably just get into things. So, we kick things off with the NXT episode from the 12th of December, 5 days ago. So it kicks off backstage. Someone's been attacked. It's Carmelo Hayes. Trick Williams comes to Carmelo's aid, but this is cut off by Cora Jade in the ring. So someone's attacked Carmelo Hayes backstage. Trick comes in to help him out, and there's no one to be seen. There's no attacker, nothing like that. So we'll keep updated on this. But anyway, we cut away to Cora Jade in the ring. Cora Jade talks about how she's finally back in NXT, and that everyone in NXT loves her, the audience, the backstage, the locker room. So much so that she's been receiving various messages on social media. And now no one can stop talking about her. This cues Nia Valkyria to come out and confront Cora for attacking her from behind at Deadline. Lyra confirms that things have changed in NXT, mainly pointing towards her win with the NXT Championship. But anyway, after she's done talking, in comes Blair Davenport to remind Lyra that she won the Iron Survivor and should be Lyra's focus, not Cora. But then here comes Nikita Lyons to start a fight with Blair, which evolves into an all-out brawl between the four of them, with both Nikita and Lyra standing tall. So I assume we get some sort of tag match tonight. We go backstage for an interview with Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, which is Wesley, not his brother, a speedy recovery from his injuries, and also reveals that he has a mystery opponent tonight in a North American title defense. So we'll find out who that will be soon. We go to our first match now of the night. So we have Metaphor, Noam Dar, Oro Mensah, and Lash Legend taking on the team of Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, and Fallon Henley. Team Briggs wins when Briggs hits a lariat on Noam. I rated it 3 stars. It was fun. It had a few slow parts, and the pace was overall good. But I do appreciate the random mini push that they're giving Briggs here. It's out of nowhere, but it's appreciated that they're trying different things with new people. So that is cool. The match itself didn't have too much in terms of story and progression, but it did alright. Fallon was taken out of the situation by Tiffany Stratton, and this didn't do anything to help Metaphor. And shortly afterwards, Noam was taken out with Lariat from Briggs. But it's cool to see multiple things in advance and new stuff get introduced as well, especially with mid card people. And that's pretty good. We get a look at the field now of the NXT Breakout Tournament for the men. We see Miles Bourne in there, which I found a bit odd, but whatever. We see Obafemi, who is a massive dude. We see Tavion Heights, who I'm pretty sure has been wrestling on Level Up, so I'm not sure why he's here. We also see a bunch of other people, but suddenly Lettuce King comes in and takes out one of them. The guy at the back, his name was Trey Bearhill, I believe. Yeah, after this we go backstage again. Carmelo Hayes thinks he knows who attacked him. He's talking to Trick Williams, and he'll call him out later. and then while Trick is handling his business with Ilya, because Trick has got a confrontation with Ilya later on. But speaking of the breakout tournament, we go into our first round match. We have Obafemi against Miles Bourne. And Obafemi wins with the pop-up release powerbomb. I rated this 2 stars. It didn't serve as much as anything than a prolonged squash. Miles didn't get pretty much any offense in, while Obafemi just slaughtered him. Oba is touted as probably the favourite to win this tournament, and probably for good reason. Dude looks like an act like a beast. But he'll assuming he does well and doesn't do anything stupid outside of it, he'll have a good future in NXT. We go backstage. Lyra Valkyria is backstage with Nikita Lyons. Lyra basically recapped everything that's going on, and Nikita does the same before opening her locker, revealing an image of her and Becky, except the image is now an image of Lyra and Tatum Paxley, which has been edited. And that's the one thing I don't like about wrestling in general. It's like I get you've got to recap stuff for newer fans and people who might have missed last week or the week before, but ultimately you wouldn't go into someone's locker room and be like, "Oh hey," and then it's like, I tell you what. I mean, last week I had a horrible fight. I had a match against X and X and I lost, and then they decided to, report me to William Regal because I didn't follow the rules. And now this week we're going to fight again because we need to sort out our differences. No one talks like that. Anyway, we're going to interview now with Tiffany Shan. We're going to interview now with Tiffany Shatton. Tiffany talks about how sick she is, of Fallon Henley, and says that people like Fallon tend to serve people like Tiffany. A future match is made between the two. A match between the two of them seems to be in their likely future. We then go on to the NXT North American Championship match. Dragon Lee, champion, defending against mystery opponent Tyler Bate. Dragon Lee wins though and retains with a running Destino, which has now got its official name, Operation Dragon. I rated this 3 3/4 stars. It was a really fun match, lots of action, lots of pace. It was a great match for Dragon Lee's first defense as well. It's also a nice touch that Dragon Lee seems to be following a similar route to Wesley's time as champion, doing the open challenges. Also as a way for Dragon Lee to build experience for himself. It's also a pretty good way of doing it. It seems like a good way of achieving that goal, and it puts him in various different challenges of different styles, different backgrounds, etc. Backstage again, Josh Briggs is here with Jensen and Henley. They reflect on their match in a positive manner. Henley apologises for leaving them, but it's not important because Briggs got the win in the first place, in the end anyway, and feels that he's surely next in line for a Heritage Cup match. The others seem to agree. We remain backstage. Lexis King is here with Ava Rain, but she's now called just Ava, and he's happy with the actions he took. But Ava isn't so pleased, and Ava announces that Lexis King will be taking the place of Trey Bearhill in the breakout tournament, to which Lexis basically displays no zero surprise, like it was his goal in the first place. I don't understand. So Ava is now management, is that right? Or I don't know what's going on. Like she's like an on-screen like GM sort of thing for Shawn Michaels. I don't fully get it. It's weird. I don't fully know, and I don't really understand it. It's weird. Anyway, we move on to Dijak and Eddie Thorpe. Eddie wins via DQ when Dijak attacks him with a ring corner, which comes off as turnbuckle when Dijak power lifts Eddie into the corner. I didn't give this a rating. I couldn't really. Nothing of any particular note happened, and the match itself was, less than a minute. So I can't really do anything with that. Post match though, Dijak attacks Eddie again while referees and medical people are seen to him. Yeah. Okay. Take your seats. It's time for the Chase You part. Andre Chase is at his podium asking the students about how much money that they've each accrued. Some guy says that he's raised like $200. Then someone else says there is like $300, which is not much whatsoever. And then Duke also comments on this. Andre tries to reassure the students, but Duke retorts saying that Andre looks like crap. And then for some reason, in comes Scripps with a briefcase and a proposition for Andre, but it's not revealed exactly what it is. We go backstage again. Cora Jade is backstage this time, preparing in the locker room with Blair and Davenport. Blair mentions that Cora stole her spotlight at Deadline, but Cora denies this and shifts the blame to Lyra. Blair doesn't particularly care though, and eventually Cora does cut the conversation short. Tensions are building between the two of them, it seems. We're going out into another first round NXT breakout tournament match. We have Keanu Carver against Riley Osborne. Riley Osborne is the guy from the Chase U segment earlier, and he's sporting a Chase U vest here. Keanu Carver is massive as well. But yeah, no, he's massive. I don't fully understand how someone can be this big. You got Oba Fleming and then you got Keanu Carver, two behemoths in this tournament. But rather than that, Riley does in fact win with the shooting star splash. I rated this 2 stars. A bit too short for me. You can give it any higher, but Keanu is also one of those big guys, so naturally I thought Keanu was going to be the winner. But surprised to be wrong. Pleasantly surprised to be wrong in this case. Riley's from the UK, so I've got to try and not be biased here, but he moves well, moves with purpose, so all positives for this first time show for me, for Riley. Keanu was alright. Keanu didn't get too much in, because it was only a short match anyway, so it was mainly a showcase for Riley. But yeah, backstage, Dragon Lee is confronted by Drew Gulak and friends. Said Dragon Lee is defending the title each week in open challenges. They accept the challenge for next week. Cool. Backstage, Riley Osborne is approached by Thea Hale backstage, and there's sparks of some kind of interest from Thea, but it's all kind of awkward, and Riley says that he needs to take a shower. JC's in the background trying to support Thea, but ultimately doesn't go down too well. But in comes Kiana James and Izzy Dame to mock her attempts. The main event of the show was a women's tag. Lyra Valkyria and Nikita Lyons against Cora Jade and Blair Davenport. Cora and Blair win after Blair hits a Kamagoye and is driven up by Nikita. But Cora was a legal tag partner and pins Lyra. Blair, sorry. No, Lyra, sorry. 3 stars. I rate this 3 stars. And Cora Jade pinned Lyra Valkyria. There we go. It's clear. Okay. It was alright. Bit slow, but it got through the key points it needed to, and established both Cora and Blair as legitimate challengers. I think it's also worth noting that Blair's Kamagoye to Lyra did enough to take Lyra out of action for long enough that Cora was able to pick up the pinfall win after a bit of time passed. Just saying. Interesting things though building in the women's division. Post match though, we venture back into the world of weirdness as Tatum Paxley throws Nikita Lyons out the ring to comfort Lyra. I'm getting a bit of Mickey James vibes on this a little bit. A little bit of Mickey James, a little bit of hardcore country. Anyway, backstage, we have Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. They're confronted by Gallus, and then a match is set between them. And Joe Coffey promises he won't be getting involved in the match. But as he finishes talking, in comes Joe Gacy on a forklift to talk to Joe about Joe while holding it, or while holding, a cup of Joe. It's Joeception. It's weird, but kind of funny. So I dug it. I don't know what they're doing with Joe Gacy either, but it feels like he's doing a lot of like soul searching, I guess is the word for it. Like he's finding his feet and finding what it is he wants to be doing and trying different things and going through the downward spiral of losing the tree. And your ending segment for NXT was the confrontation between Trick Williams and Ilya Dragunov. So Trick comes out first, talks about a bit about deadline. He's ready to come in clutch, which I assume means to win the NXT title. Here comes Ilya though to confront Trick, meeting the criteria for the segment. Ilya acknowledges Trick's determination and praises him for getting victory from a near obvious defeat. Trick says he's ready to win the title, but Ilya isn't so sure of that. Ilya reminds Trick of how much he suffered to become and stay NXT champion, and that he'll do anything to remain that way. But here comes Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo's here, and presumably to call out the attacker. He claims that the person who attacked Trick was also the same person who attacked Carmelo. And then Ilya uses it as a chance to leave. It's not his business. Let the other two deal with their stuff. But Carmelo prevents him from leaving because he accuses Ilya. He gets in the ring and says, "J'accuse" to Ilya. It didn't say "j'accuse," but I actually did. Ilya says that he didn't do it. He denies the allegation. And Trick also isn't convinced of this. It's just a bit random, and he would like to see some proof. Ilya says that I read that wrong. Carmelo says that Ilya did it so that he wouldn't have to deal with both Carmelo and Trick, because Trick's there when Carmelo needs him, and Carmelo's there when Trick needs him. And, relies on callbacks for the Great American Bash to sell this, where it's like, Trick hit him with the title, and, had us both there. They're both always there to support each other. Ilya questions that Carmelo may not have been attacked at all. Carmelo gets suddenly aggressive, though, and claims that Ilya doesn't deserve the title, and that Trick does. And he goes to grab the title, and a small tug of war begins at this point, ending with Trick getting hit in the face with the title by Carmelo. This gets everyone hyped with Melo's guilty chants to end the show, with all three men standing in the ring, all in shock at what's just transpired. So remember a few weeks back when Trick, inadvertently hit Carmelo? And now this week, Carmelo's inadvertently hit Trick. We're getting something. Trick's not beating Ilya. Carmelo will be revealed as the attacker, and that he didn't get attacked. He faked his own attack, like, a la Big Cass in 2017 or whatever it was. As for who Ilya fights, there's a few options. You've got Dijak, Bron Breakker. I'm trying to think. You can build someone like that way too. You can even do like No Abdallah if you really wanted to. But NXT's in a good place, and it should be fun to see what is achieved by the people involved in the storylines. The biggest thing they've got going is Carmelo and Trick, and people are waiting for that reveal. We all know it's Carmelo. Carmelo acts in a way that everyone would think you are guilty. It's just the random mood swings and bouts of aggressiveness he has towards others. It's him. It has to be him. But yeah, that was NXT. NXT is a fun show typically to get to watch, and yeah, there's a few good things on the way. Speaking of good things, let's kick off with AEW Rampage. Okay, here we go. So with Rampage notes for the 15th of December, we kick things off with some 6-man action, for fuck's sake. We have Orange Cassidy teaming up with Marshall and Ross Von Erich against Jake Hager, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. Team Cassidy win when Marshall Von Erich rolls up Angelo Parker. Post-match though, a brawl ensues where Kevin Von Erich turns up and to save his sons and Cassidy, and they clear house, and he hits the Iron Claw on Hager. Two of the quarters rated this. It was a standard 6-man tag match that you see on Rampage, which had a small plus benefit to it with the Von Erichs involved, and it served as a pretty good advertisement for Iron Claw. Even the post-match appearance of Kevin Von Erich was quite fun, and it was nice to see Kevin in the ring, even if it was something like this. Overall, quite wholesome and fun, but I'm not going to rate it high because it doesn't deserve that. Backstage, we continue the wholesomeness with Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal. They talk about the past and that they've got a match in the Gold League for the C2 next week on Dynamite. Should be fun, and they reminisce about the past. It was quite nice to see them connected this way because they have a lot of history with Ring of Honor. Now, the next match, the Callis family, which is Carl Fletcher and Powerhouse Hobbs, taking on the team of Hunter Gray and Paul Titan. The Callis family win after Hobbs hits a most dangerous slam on Paul Titan. This is half a star. I rated this. Normally, I wouldn't rate this sort of thing, but this was clearly going to be a squash match. That's why I was able to rate this, as it was intended that way. Post match though, Callis grabs a mic to throw shade on Jericho and Omega, claiming that Jericho tried to hide from Callis in the tag division, but from now on, Callis will be enabling the Callis rule, which is essentially the Freebird rule, but for any match, as opposed to the Freebird being title matches. Which means that any two members of the Callis family can take on Jericho and Omega when the time comes. Of course, for now, obviously it's just Fletcher and Hobbs, so when Guevara is back, when Ospreay's regularly in AEW, then they have more options. But as of right now, there's a bit of an issue with that because Omega has been diagnosed with diverticulitis. It didn't make it into Rampage, so I guess there was just not enough time for that. But he'll be out for a little bit. Not that long, I don't think, but he'll be out of action for a bit. Backstage, Ruby Soho speaking about being torn in all directions, but Saraya confronts her, telling her that she's nothing without Saraya, and Ruby takes umbrage with this, claiming that if Saraya doesn't need Ruby to go and beat Riho by herself without Ruby, and walks off. Moving on though, we have Anna Jay taking on Red Velvet. Anna Jay wins with the Queen Slayer submission following interference from Matt Menard. I rated this 2 3/4 stars. It was alright. But nothing really special. It felt more like a tune-up match, but I don't know for who. I don't know if any of them are on any kind of run. I don't think they are. So I guess the match was just a tune-up match for both of them. I don't know, to be honest. Matt Menard causes an attraction though, and Jay picks up the win. So I guess Anna's on winning ways again. So that's cool. And your main event, in something that seems mind-numbingly different than everything else on the show, we had Top Flight, Darius and Dante Martin, teaming with Action Andretti, taking on the team of Penta El Zero Miedo, Commander, and El Hijo del Pequeno. Top Flight and Andretti win though after the Trios tandem move that I have no idea what it's called. It looked very cool though. I rated though 3 1/4 stars. It was a fun match. It's not exactly the kind of thing I enjoy watching, but you know, with what you got in the show, it's a welcome addition. Hijo and Penta are stars in their own right. Commander needs some working, but Top Flight and Action Andretti needed this win a whole lot more. So I'm glad the right team won here, and they can potentially move on to, you know, towards challenging for the trios titles in AEW or Ring of Honor, or you know, sending Top Flight after the tag titles again, AEW or Ring of Honor. It works either way, but we will see what happens with those. But yeah, that was Rampage, and with that, that brings an end to this recording and an end to this edition of HCW Show Squared. I've been Dan, DP, DPZ, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.